Now that's optimal studying. Option. This is SKMDK back with another video. So what do we have today? Yes, we have 5 ways I use tech to study better or to be better organized. Now, really the 5th one is more actuarial science based. And if you know me personally, you would know that I studied actuarial science and I'm still on the road to becoming qualified. Yeah. But anyway, enough about that. One day we'll get there. So without wasting any time, let's get right into this. So the first way I use tech to study is with an app called Anki or Anki. And we know that if you try to study your material as if you're reading a newspaper, it never really works because that's what's called passively studying. Now, we'll probably already address that by using flashcards or always asking a friend to ask you questions from a material that you've studied. Now, that's all fine, and that's what Anki starts doing first. It uses flashcards to help you study. Now, that's called active recall testing. And the effectiveness of active recall testing is the fact that every time you try to recall a memory, then the memory gets stronger in your brain. And the other advantage is the fact that then you know what you don't know. Because if you try to recall and you don't get the answer correctly, then you know that you need to go revise that material. And this is because our brain works on a policy called use it or lose it. In that if you learn a memory and you don't use it, then you're going to lose it. And that's why if I was to ask you what you were wearing 2 weeks ago, you probably wouldn't remember. Now, that's fine if we use flashcards already. But think about it. If you have like 10 flashcards, then it's fine. 10, 20 flashcards, it's fine. 30 is still fine. 50 flashcards is still fine. But once again, to get 100 flashcards, then it starts becoming a bit unsustainable. Firstly, because of the fact that you have many flashcards and it becomes a mess in that they are not organized and you can easily lose some flashcards or you don't even know what flashcard relates to what anymore. Now that's where Anki comes in, because then your flashcards are stored on the cloud and they're synced all over your devices, meaning that they're better organized and you can always approach them at any point, which is nice. Now, the other issue is the fact that writing 100 flashcards is also not an easy task. Now, I find it better to create flashcards by typing compared to having to write and using a whole lot of piece of papers. So that's where Anki comes in again. Now, that's all fine. If you already use active recall testing, then if you already use flashcards with active recall testing, then you're fine. But then the other issue is the fact that if you have flashcards, let's say 100 flashcards, and then you already know that 50 of them you already understand them, you get them easily. Is it sustainable to then always do 100 flashcards every day? Certainly not. Or it's not optimal. So now that's where the second feature of Anki comes in, called spaced repetition. And as the name says, it's just repetition, but in a spaced manner. So meaning that we're still repeating work or we're still recalling our flashcards, but in a spaced manner, which is more optimal. Now, how that spacing is determined is based on your feedback. So now every time you open a flashcard, then Anki will ask you, after you show your answer, how easy was it for you to remember? Was it very hard? Was it just hard? Was it good? Or was it very easy? And in that way, then it knows that if I say very easy, then Anki knows that, okay, but then we know this, it means that we know this memory already, so we don't have to ask you tomorrow. Let's space it out and ask you after 4 days. Now, what's nice about that is even if it asks you after 4 days and realize that then it asks you again, how easy was it for you to remember? If you say now it was difficult, then it will push it back and ask you after a day. Now, that's optimal studying. And I say it's optimal studying because of the fact that then if you think about it, then it means that you then need to study less and less each and every day. You need to recall your flashcards less and less, because if you know that memory, then it's pushed back and it's much more optimal because then you study what you don't know very well. So let me stop babbling too much about Anki and let's get right into testing it. So I'm now on my PC And I just want to show you how I would use Anki on my Windows 10 PC, but really it works on macOS, it works on Android, it works on iOS, which is really what's cool about this. So let's open it. Right, and then usually you would create a profile. So I have two profiles, and the other one I just created now so that we can sort of show you the guidance. School 2 is where I have my notes. So I'll go to School Lily, and then you first, so how I usually do it is I first create a deck, and really a deck of flashcards is really just like a folder of flashcards, right? So I'll call this one Understanding Anki, right? And then want to add a flashcard, and then I'll say define spaced repetition. Very bad with spelling, but anyway, we get the gist, right? So then I'll say something like spaced repetition. Then we'll say, okay, what deck do we want to put it in Understanding Anki. So we double click it and say add. Now you will see now then that in Anki there's a new card, right? So if I want to then study it, I open that and it asks you, do you want to study now? It tells you it's a new card. If it's, so usually you would find that after it has like sort of three colors, then usually blue, it means that it's a new card. A bit of red or orange means that you're still learning this card. Then to review means that you sort of learned it. Now it's just trying to keep on getting it into your brain. Let's say study. And then it asks us our flashcard spaced repetition. Then we'll say show answer. Then it gives us the answer. Then it will ask you, how easy was it for you? If it was bad, it means that again, and even tells you, it means that it will ask you after 1 minute again about this. It means you realize that you don't know the memory yet. If it says good, it says I will ask you after 10 minutes. And when you say easy, it says it will ask you after 4 days, right? So we know about this. I'll just say easy. Then it means that it says congrats, you've finished this deck for now. Now this is what will always happen. If you have more decks, then you will get other flashcards until you're done for the day, right? So this is how it works. Now the nice thing about this is the fact that let's add a new one. Now I'll say define. Then when I add it to the Understanding Anki deck again, so we say add. Now it's nice the fact that you can then have Anki on all your devices, right? Then if I go to decks, then I can say sync, right? Then I'll just need to enter my Anki ID, right? Then it syncs with the devices. Now what's nice is I also have Anki on my phone, right? And then it says you can upload to Anki Web. Then now it means that that deck now will also show on my phone, right? So let's move on to my phone and let's see the deck on my phone and how Anki works on an Android. So yeah, we're now on my Android phone, and you then as I said, you can also have Anki on your Android, Mac, or iOS. So on Android, you'll just have to go to the Play Store, search for Anki, and then you'll get Anki Droid flashcards. You open it, then you'll sign up and sign up with your Anki account. Or if you haven't, then if you click on sync, it will ask you that your account. So if I say sync, it's now syncing the databases. So meaning whatever I've created on my laptop will now be synced onto my phone also, which is cool because it means that then I can do my flashcards anywhere. It's better organization compared to you just having a whole lot of flashcards in one place, and they can become a mess. If I open here, you can see this is the flashcard we've created on my PC, which is the Define Active Recall Testing. And if you can see on the top there, it shows that it says 010. Now the first zero shows that there isn't any new flashcard because we've now at least opened one of the flashcards that we've now at least opened the flashcards that we've created. And when it says one there on the red side, means that there's one flashcard that's being learned, and then zero means that there isn't anyone that needs to be reviewed. So meaning that none has gotten to a level of being graduated, right? So then I can say show answer, right? And then gives me the answer. Then it will ask me again, was it good, easy, or I need to do it again. If I say again, and it will show again. Now it says 2 because now it's picking up the fact that I didn't know this one very well, so we need to learn again until I get to a point where I can go to easy. Then it will say I'm done with studying, you see. So that's how it works on Android. Now on to the next one. The second way I use tech most to help me with my studies or planning, it's Microsoft To Do. Now Microsoft To Do is really what it says. It gives you put a list of stuff that you want to do. Now that helps me in that I know my day is planned, in that I know that I have to study this chapter, I need to do this question, I need to do Anki at this point, and all those things. And also there's also just that nice feeling of at the end of the day ticking a list. I don't know, it's sort of a small victory that keeps you motivated to study. So without also babbling too much about it, let's get right into looking at it on my PC. So we're back on my PC now, looking at Microsoft To Do. So usually I'll just then write Microsoft To Do, open it. Now this is, so usually I would have my sort of list, and today I would go to my day and it will tell me the stuff that I need to do. So there's a password I need to drop, so I can tick that I'm done with that, as well as then I know there's a top 5 ways I use tech for my study, which is the video that I'm doing now. So this helps me to be organized. And if I was studying also, I would say, well, there's this chapter that I need to cover. And really this just helps with having everything sorted. And what's also nice, again, it's the fact that it syncs. So this is on my PC, and again, I'll link another channel where they really go deep into Microsoft To Do, and you can see stuff that you can actually get from it. But that's sort of the stuff that I enjoy about it. So let's get right into looking at Microsoft To Do on my Android phone. But as I said, this is also like Anki. You can have it on your Mac, you can have it on your iPhone, which is also nice. So helping you to be always connected, right? So let's look at it on my Android. Yeah. So now on my Android phone, my Galaxy Z Fold2 5G, and we are now testing Microsoft To Do. Now, again, the nice thing, as I said, is because it stays synced, and you will know that, you'll notice that. So if you want to get it, you'll go to Play Store again and just search for To Do, and then you'll be able to download it. So I've already downloaded it, and so I can just say open. And again, you're greeted by My Day, which tells you what are your tasks for the day that you've set up, and also other tasks that you have. So then now I can already come in here and say, okay, I've done the video on Anki, and also that chime, that or that beep really gives you that sort of nice feeling that I'm done with something. So I really love pressing on that and hearing that. And then also I can tick on Microsoft To Do because then I'm done with this video. And you can then already see that the next thing that we're talking about is Toggl track, right? So yeah, that was Microsoft To Do on the phone. And again, as I said, you can have this on your Mac, you can have it on iOS, basically almost any platform, which is nice. And also you can actually run it on the web also. So the third way I use tech for my studies is with an app called Toggl Track. Now, really what this app does is it really tries to track your time on what are you using your time for. And so it's sort of like a time keeping software, which for me is good for my studies because I always want to have stats on how much time did I spend studying a certain subject, and so that I can know how to improve. If I know that I spent a certain number of hours, then probably it means that if I don't pass it next time, I need to study more than that. So that also helps me to also keep in check in that I'm actually covering the hours that I always wanted to cover. So without babbling too much about Toggl, let's get right into look at it on my PC. So now we're back on my PC, and again, this is an app that will work on your Windows 10, your Mac, your Android, your iOS. Really, again, that connected feeling or connected way of doing things, which helps you to be more in sync, right? So let's look at it on my Windows 10 PC. Now, and I'll also make sure that I do include a link of all these apps on my description below, so you can go download them and test them, and also include further YouTube videos that will also help you with optimizing out, because I'm really just scratching the surface with all of this. So with Toggl desktop, then I would say, okay, I'm studying. So then usually I would say, okay, this is what I'm working on now, recording video of Toggl track. Then I'll click on the play sign, and then now it's going to start recording the time. Now, as I said, obviously I use this for my studies, and it will help me to then, as soon as I start studying, then I'll click on record time, and then it will start recording, right? And then usually I would create, so I was studying say1 previously, so I would say studying say1. I mean, this is not studying say1, but you can create a project and also say, okay, what client it is. So it's ASA, this is the Actuarial Science of South Africa. So I would say at this time, I'm recording a video on Toggl track, and really the grouping, it helps you to group sort of your time is studying say one, and then I can just say done, and I can just continue with what I'm doing, do my studies, and when I'm done, can come back and say stop recording. Right? Now the nice thing is those times are now then synced. Now let's move on to Toggl track on my phone, and you realize how the connected feeling of this is nice, because you will see that the time also continues recording on my phone. So again, meaning that even if I start this timer on my PC and I forget to stop it, then I can just take my phone wherever I am and stop the time, right? So let's look at Toggl track on Android. So we're back on my Android phone again. So again, you can also just search for Toggl, and then you'll get Toggl track time tracking and work hours log. So I've already downloaded it. You can just say install, right? And then I can continue with logging in with the time that we started on the laptop is also still continuing here. So as I said, the nice thing is then you're always connected. Even if you forget to stop the timer there, you will see it on your phone running, and you can then stop it in here. And if I stop it here, then it's also stopped the time on the PC, which then also again means that now you're optimally recording the time that you spent studying, to then help you to do some stats to say, okay, if I didn't pass now, how many more hours do I need to cover? And then you can also compare yourself with other people who have already passed and how many hours they cover, and maybe that can also help you to then pass in the following exam. Now on to the fourth way I use tech for my studies, and this is really just note taking. Again, I think you can use any sort of note taking app, but I prefer Microsoft OneNote, again because of that connected feeling or connected or syncing way. So I'm on my laptop now to show you OneNote on Windows 10, and while on it, I'll be doing a review of the laptop itself, as well as the HP Tilt Pen, which is a stylus that I use with the laptop, as well as then the stand that I have here. So make sure you stay subscribed so that you can see those videos when they come up. So let's look at OneNote itself. Right, so I'll try to open it there. Apologies for the viewing angles. Probably it's one of the issues with this laptop. Outside viewing angles are not very good but when you're using the laptop itself, it's good. I think it's just the video, but this is how then I would use it. I would then just select the pen and write say testing OneNote. So now the nice thing about this is the fact that whatever I write here would also show up on my Android phone, which is nice because then I can seamlessly move between my Android and my laptop with writing my notes, as well as if I just want to study, I can just open any device and still have my notes. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on the video, but it's syncing already to the cloud, right? So let's look at the OneNote app also on Android. Let's move into that. So now I'm on my Android phone, the Galaxy Z Fold2 5G, and I have the OneNote app installed. So if I open here, you will notice that it's also synced already. See, OneNote. And you also see how seamless it is. Well, depending on the connection, if I actually already write, say, testing again, it should also show up on this phone after some time. Well, you see now it's starting to show up a bit, but it obviously depends on your connection. So this is what I like, because then I can write my notes on one side and then still continue on the other side. So now on to the final way I use tech to enhance my studies. As I said at the start of the video, that this is more actuarial science based. So if you studied actuarial science, you know that for your more senior exams, there's a lot of material, a lot of book work, and it's better to have acronyms to remember your theory. So this is the ActEd acronym app, and it helps you to give you acronyms for most of your senior subject. So you can download it. I think it's also available for Apple. You can search on your app store. So then you say open, and then you just say select by subject, and so which subject you're studying. So for me it was CP1 previously, so I would say CP1 and then say play, and then benefits of good risk management. Then if you say play, it will give you an acronym that you can use. I think this one is SAMUSA, so it's stability, avoid surprises, yeah, and all those things. So then the nice thing is then you can use this with Anki to actually help you study these acronyms with Anki. So you go on Anki, create flashcards with these acronyms, and that's sort of a better way to then also take advantage of your technology to enhance your studies. So that's how I would do it. That's it, folks. Thanks for making it this far. Yeah, so that was my top 5 ways I use tech to enhance my studies as well as to be better organized. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned some stuff. I mean, most of the apps I was just scratching the surface or just giving you ideas. So I will make sure that I link videos on the description that give more explanation on these apps. And if you really liked the video, please click on the like button, as well as consider subscribing to my channel for more similar content coming. So I really appreciate those who have already subscribed. I really appreciate your support. So that's it. See you in the next video. Cheers.